Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our spring review summary for spring 109. For last spring, we have done a lot of things, and let's dive into it. So for spring 109, our spring goal was to validate and replace the path for Teams and desktop backend with the Cloud Code sandbox. And Rick will finalize the architecture diagram. However, the goal wasn't finished. This PBI wasn't finished because Rick still need to walk the team through the entire process and make every members in the same page. We will give more details when we went there. So our sprint number is 109, and we had 5 working days. Callum was the product owner, and the attendees were Callum, Stephen, Tom, Rick, Tino, and Wheeler. The internal hours, Stephen worked for the full time, and the other members were part-time on YakShaver.
Sorry, where is Rick?
Rick.
I've put in my timesheet. Maybe that image hasn't been refreshed. I will do that in the background.
Right. Rick, how many days were you on this?
I think 3 to 4.
Right. And who did you work on with the sprint goal?
The sprint goal, primarily just myself, and maybe Tom was involved for a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. When it's the sprint goal, it's the most important thing. So generally, the other team members, or at least one, should be helping you swarm on that until there's nothing more you need from them, and you can do the rest by yourself.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I will make sure this image is updated when I send the email. So let's go through the PBIs we have done last sprint. The first one is the YakShaver 360 Aspire setup for the best practice refactor. Tom, can you give us some details of this one, please?
Yeah, certainly can. So in the previous sprint, we added Aspire to the project on the root level, but we didn't want to change the project and folder structure at that stage because we would potentially have broken deployment pipelines, etc. So we deferred it into a separate PBI, which was this PBI that we worked on this sprint. And in that, we updated the basic folder structure to follow the best practices that Aspire projects are doing. And we updated the production pipeline and CI/CD to fit that new structure as well. Everything seems to be working fine, and we haven't had any problems. And yeah, Aspire is now implemented.
So this is the image to preview when it's set up. Okay, any questions? Okay, let's move on. So next is the refactor of YakShaver desktop app setting panel. That was done by myself, and I'll show everyone a screenshot to illustrate what I've done. So on the right-hand side was the old setting panel. As you can see, we have some duplicate interests, and also these settings interests are not ordered by priority. For example, the MCP server settings were one of the most important settings, but it was hidden on the bottom. After the refactor, I have merged some of the interests, and also the menu was ordered by the priority. They have the same order as the onboarding wizard. So setting up the video host, model settings, and MCP setting infrastructure. Just one.
That looks better. I will tell you, generally when you show a before and after, the before is on the left and the after is on the right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time I'll
But
notice.
it does look nicer just from a very first look. Who checked this?
I gave this to Michaela, and he proved this.
She.
She. Because in Chinese context, we don't have difference in that.
Okay. So where did you put your shortcuts?
The shortcuts is inside. That's one example I'm going to show. So yeah, before on the first entry, we have only one item in this general to
Yes.
set up the startup and the computer startup. And then on the second keyboard shortcut, there's only one item for that. And the third tool flow, we only have one item. And the new menu, I merge everything into general. So when you click into general, there are 3 items, and they are all related to like general setting for YakShaver. And also, there are more settings like model settings to replace those 2 entries for language model and transcription models.
So I understand going to a designer to make things look better. But I really think that the person that approves these changes should be somebody on the team.
I also show this to Tom.
Did you go through each change? We're changing this from this to this, or did you just show this is the new one? All okay?
In the PR, I have a very detailed screenshot.
I'm not
of
asking
every
about
change.
what's in the PR. I'm asking when you went through it with Tom, did you say, look, I changed this setting from here to here, and I did this one from here to here, or you just said, here's the new one, can you approve it?
I showed a couple of these changes to Tom, and also I showed to Luis as well.
Yeah. Tom, did you go through each change, or you just had a look at the end output?
Not through each individual, mostly, to the output and the code review.
Yeah, I think in something like this, where you're doing a lot of changes, Stephen, I would be taking a dev through all the changes to make sure they all make sense. Because it's very hard to miss it when you just show the output. Callum, any thoughts from you?
Well, I think it looks pretty good, the new settings, but I agree it would be good to see exactly what setting has gone where. You could probably just have AI output a text description of here are the high-level settings and here are all the things inside each, and then that would make it very easy for everyone to have a look at and make sure it makes sense. You could just post that in the Teams chat or something, and everyone can like it.
Okay. Yeah, I will keep in mind that. Next time, if I do similar things, I will make sure everyone's noticed. Get them to check every chance.
Yeah, I think it's even not too late for what you've done here. You could just go back and generate that description of what's in every option, and then we can all just double check that they all make sense.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I will do that.
Why do you need AI to do this, Callum, when we can visually see?
How do you visually see what's inside each of these options?
Well, I assume there's
you need like a screenshot of every single page, which I guess you could do, but it would be a lot of screenshots. Whereas if it's just a quick text representation, it would fit in one screen, I'd imagine.
Personally, I would prefer to see the screenshots rather than just a text representation of it.
Okay.
I guess.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of screenshots to post in Teams though, but maybe you're right.
There's all the writing, there's the alignment, there's lots of things, I guess. But anyway, you go in there.
I think the options themselves are the same, right? They just move to a different place. Is that the case?
Yeah. The option are the same.
So I guess maybe if you're already familiar with them, you don't care so much about what it looks like. But if you're not so familiar, you do want to see it, I guess.
Right. Yep. Usually the last menu is about. So I would prefer the last one to be about.
We don't have a about section.
Yeah, I guess we need to add an about that would have things like version number and stuff like that.
So we can rename the release into about.
You could do that if you on the about you can see the different releases. Yep.
I guess if we had a screenshot of that tab, we would know exactly what's in it, wouldn't we? So that's
Yeah.
a point in favor of the screenshot then.
So this is the new version. We can like. This is the
Yeah,
release.
I would start with about above that, and you can
Okay.
have that there.
Yeah. Okay. We can
Uh,
discuss it in details after this summary. And let's move on to next. Willow has done some spike to investigate Azure log and analytic cost increase. Willow, do you want to give us some details on this one?
Yeah, sure. So our Azure Log Analytics cost has increased a lot, about $30 per month. So I have investigated what happened and what caused this. So we found mainly two issues. Stephen, maybe you can just scroll down to the bottom. The first one is to the bottom. The first one is the total count from our leaderboard. So it was called very frequently. So I created a PBI to maybe cache this total count for every 5 seconds. So to reduce the huge access to our admin database, and this will reduce some log analytics. And also another issue is that our current health check produced a lot of logs. And I also created a new PBI to reduce the log frequency or raise our log level to reduce these logs. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Okay. Sorry, Willow. I don't think I find the right place. Do you still want me to show the section that you talked?
Yeah, just here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Any questions on this PBI? Okay. I will move on. So next, Willow will give us some briefing on our velocity and our AI usage, AI tool usage.
Yeah, sure. So for the recent velocity, we have originally committed 22 points, but we delivered 13 points. That's about 60%. But I think because we didn't have that much capacity this sprint. And about R&D part, we didn't do something related to
Sorry,
the
just
R&D.
on that velocity, it would be helpful to know how many, people or how many hours that were in each sprint. That would be something you could ask Michael Q, because it would make more sense. As you add more people, more points should get done.
Yeah, sure.
I agree.
Noted.
Yeah, it only shows how much we originally planned for, I guess, but not how much time we actually had.
Rick, can you write down some notes and we can give this to Michael after this screen?
Michael and Willow. Also in the bottom, average velocity. I don't think we need the decimal places. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would just go with 24 points and 4 points per working day. But maybe the second one needs a decimal place, but not the first one. Would you agree, Callum?
Yeah, I guess the second one sort of makes sense because it's going to be a much lower number, but the first one probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will
Carry on,
move
Willow.
on. Yeah. So for R&D parts, we didn't do really too much about R&D. And for AI tools, it's almost the same with the last sprint. No one is hitting limit. And we can see most of us are using Copilot, and some of us using Claude Code, and some of us is using the Codex. Yeah, that's all about the AI tools.
Willow, your record in columns is missing a space before 4.7.
Yes. And also, with
No,
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 opus
no,
opus
no.
space 4.7.
Yes.
We
No, just opus, and then you have a
okay,
space
yeah.
and the number.
And also, I'm using
Rick, are you
GPT
sure you're not using
5.4.
5.5?
Not at the moment. I think it's too expensive.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Is it also slower?
No, I haven't had enough go with it yet, so I can't tell at the moment. But because of the premium request it cost, I didn't go for it.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay, let's move on. Next, Rick, can you give us some insight of the AI stats?
Sure. So from Claude, it says we have completed the Aspire best practice by Tom. Yes, we did that. And also Tom has contacted 6 clients. That's good. And for Stephen, he has added 360 links and tidy up the tagline. And Stephen also did a bug fix for Mac OS ARM architecture. And Stephen also fixed the setting panels, as we see earlier. And Willow also did a good job on the spike on how to reduce the cost for log analytics. And I think this is pretty spot on or good. And then let's focus on.
Sorry,
Yes.
just go up. Okay. So, are you going to be opening up those Claude stats? Are you going to look at Tiger? That's coming from Tiger, right?
Yeah, this
Yes.
is coming from Tiger.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we
really be
put
called Tiger
dash?
stats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
SSW Tiger stats.
Yeah.
And are you going to be looking at the report or just reading the summary?
We
think
are
we
going
might
to be
go
looking
through
at
the-
the report at the end.
Yeah, in the end.
Okay, that's weird.
Okay.
We could do it
Okay.
now, but I think it includes aspects of planning as well, right? I think that's a rationale behind doing it at the
Oh,
end.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Right. So for the meeting stats, Stephen was hosting the meeting summary, and Callum is the product owner, and then myself talked the third most, and then followed by Tino and Tom, and then Willow the last. And then Copilot said, what was the main issue completed? So Copilot said YakShaver 360 Aspire best practice refactor, and that's pretty spot on. So that's correct.
Should there be a tick underneath it to say it's correct?
Yeah, I will add a tick on the email once we after this sprint.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Rick. Next, the decision from the prior meeting, Callum prioritized the 4-point YakShaver 360 integration plan with the broader platform ideas for the intermediate next sprint. Rick walked the backend replacement diagram through the team before closing Spike 3655. Stephen and Willow treat issue number 852 as ready to merge after approval. And backlog change from Spring 109 review. So we have got some updates, issue updates, because we discussed this issue during the meeting, and AI just update accordingly through the transcription. And the backlog stats, we have 6 completed, 7 still in progress, and we have 3 moments, guys. There are 2,179 total in our 3 repository, and the net change was -9. I think that's because some of the member being pulled out for car walk in the middle of the sprint. That's why we had a reduced points.
Willow, with regards to this being generated, I do think many of these things should be on a fresh line. Maybe the first two can be on the same line, completed and in progress. But just put the extra, put a line after the second one. Yeah, before the bonus ones.
Put a
Yeah,
line
so-
here.
Yeah, I would put those two, and yeah, they're the extras or the changes. Put the 2,179 on a fresh line. Now I don't know why we care about how many. Is that how many in the backlog, or is that total PPIs?
That's the total PPI ever created,
That's
including
pointless.
those closed.
We don't need that. So just put a strike through that. There's no point.
Yeah.
But
okay,
putting the
well,
number on the backlog, that makes more sense.
I will manually edit this after this meeting.
Okay.
We'll make
And
notes
the net
here.
change? No, don't delete it. Yep. And put the net change on a fresh line.
And the first
Yeah.
line.
Fresh line, not
Oh,
first.
fresh line. Okay. Yeah.
Undo. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I definitely think you should change the template so it looks at what is in the backlog.
Yeah. Okay. For the next session, the overall project snapshot, we have 759 open items. That is for open items. And we have 12 committed. And also our velocity was 24.3. And we have 145 backlog ready items. Next, Tom, can you give us a brief on the retrospective?
Of course. Let's go through what went well. Callum said the team now has a clearer direction to bring YakShaver 360 into the current portal rather than keeping it as a separate product. Stephen said the desktop settings panel is much cleaner and easier to navigate. Willow said the new desktop settings experience looks cleaner, so she agrees with Stephen. And I said the Aspire setup was a strong outcome and something I would reuse for personal projects as well. What didn't go so well? Stephen noted that the Chanafy YakShaver 360 branch diverged from an early desktop version, which makes it hard to carry useful changes back to the current app.
Sorry, a correction. Actually, this was raised by Callum. So AI, I think, mixed up with my name as Callum's name.
They are very similar.
Yeah, we will fix that up, of course. Rick and Tom called out the misleading Stripe subscription state in the portal, where expired subscription were shown as no subscription existed at all. For that, we already have a PR in the backlog. Callum asked about client outreach, and the team confirmed there were still no replies from the latest contact batch. And the improvements for next sprint.
How are you contacting them?
Email.
Right. Have you thought about calling one?
We don't have phone numbers for them because when they sign up, we don't record the phone number.
And are you going to fix that?
We can add a phone number field, yes, but not for retroactive because we don't collected the phone number.
An example of someone's name.
Do we want that in the recording?
Good point. You can message me, and I'm sure I can find their number.
Sure. I can send it to you after the recording. Is that fine?
Fine, that's fine.
Yeah. Let's continue with the improvements for next sprint. Add YakShaver 360 directly into the portal. Add options for both the Teams app and desktop app to use the 360 backend. And do the Stripe integration gap analysis and document the subscription state edge cases properly. And we want to explore the agent-driven outreach against poor public GitHub issues as a YakShaver marketing experiment. And we want to keep the simple task management system idea behind the higher priority 360 integration work. Any questions on any of the items? No? Cool. Back to you, Steven.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, that's the end of the spring review. Next, we're going to see our planning for the next sprint. So next sprint is 110. Our sprint goal, we have 2 sprint goals for the next sprint. The first one is to spike how to add YakShaver 360 into our portal. So we have planned to merge 360 into our YakShaver portal, so user can log into the portal and do the 360 shaves there. So we're going to do a spike and investigate what's the best way to combine these 2 projects. And the second one is we had an issue on the client subscription. We need to fix that issue as well. So the sprint details, we are going to have 5 working days, and we're going to have 27 points on the board. And Callum was a product owner, and the attendees were Callum, Stephen, Tom, Rick, Tino, and Willem. The planning notes, of course, Callum said the team should focus on the 4 points 360 integration plan from the Rachel.
What is that?
Well, it's my simple 4-point plan to rejuvenate YakShaver, and that is the following. Step 1 is incorporating YakShaver 360 into the portal, because currently YakShaver 360 is its own thing, but it's a very similar technology to the portal, so it would make a lot of sense to just put it directly into the portal, so you could sign into the portal and do a shave just like you do when you sign to YakShaver 360. There's no reason why that should be a separate app. So we're going to combine them. And then step 2 is upgrade the Teams app, so the Teams app can talk to the new YakShaver 360 backend once we've added it to the portal. So that way you can record a video in Teams and then send it to the same agentic workflow rather than the current legacy one-shot prompt pipeline. So hopefully that'll be a cool rejuvenation of the Teams app without changing too much. Step 3 is update the desktop app. So the desktop app will get the same treatment as the Teams app, in that it can now optionally send videos into the portal to be shaved by the 360 architecture. And then step 4, which is the final step, is adding a very simple to-do list type backend for YakShaver. And the reason for that is so we can support less technical use cases, because our brainiacs here have sort of identified a potential untapped market in things like factories and office spaces and stuff that aren't developers, so they're not using GitHub. They don't necessarily have a dedicated task management app. So it'd be cool if we had a very simple to-do list where you could have just a few simple buckets, which is like a project. When you YakShave, it just creates a to-do item on the bucket, and then you can tick it to say it's done. And that way we can start selling YakShaver to anyone without them necessarily needing to bring their own dedicated task management system. But that's step 4, that's coming later. For now, we're doing steps 1, 2, 3, which is sort of combining 360 into the YakShaver platform.
Right. Are any of these on the roadmap on the website?
Good question. I only formulated this 4-point plan in the current call. We haven't actually ended the call yet, so it won't be reflected on the website at the moment, but it will be shortly.
Stephen, can you go to the website, the yakshaver.ai website, and then go to the menu that says roadmap? Yep. And you should probably add those there. And if you're doing them prior to those ones, you should add them before them. Although you've already done
Well, the ones at the top are already done, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are done.
Once.
Yeah. So down here, we can say that Jira and sorry, scroll down a little bit, Stephen. The support for Zendesk and Jira is done via MCP. The MCP redesigned agentic workflow, that one's done as well. I guess the next in progress one would be the agentic workflow outside of MCP. I guess we can come up with a better name for that. But that would be in progress, and that's combining 360 into the portal. And then
keep going down.
This one is done. I think more identity provider for with identity server.
Yep.
Is Trinify done?
no.
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So after this meeting, we will make sure this roadmap is up to date.
Yeah, do a YakShave together, and then give the changes to yourself, Stephen.
Yeah. Let's try it because I'm currently recording.
Oh, you
so-
don't need to YakShave now. Do it after this meeting.
All right. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I will use YakShaver to create the PBI for this.
Yeah. Tom, by the way, I've looked up a couple of those people, and I've got their numbers. So
Okay.
it's not that hard. You could also add their emails, or they're also on LinkedIn. So yeah, definitely could be finding another way.
Yeah. I think it's good still to lead with the email, and then if we don't get a reply, to follow up with a phone call,
Sure. Okay.
like an escalation step.
And that was always the plan, wasn't it?
Of course.
Of course.
That's
All right.
why I keep track.
Very
They
good.
contacted.
Cool. Yeah. The next, Rick and Willow are both on client work for the next sprint. So in the next sprint, we'll only be Tom, Tino, and myself. There will be 3 people in this sprint. And the team created a placeholder for PBI 367 during the planning. So we left the Tiger to fill the content, and we will have a look at how Tiger works. And for the backlog, the main PBI is about this placeholder to spike and find a way to merge YakShaver 360 to the portal. And after that spike, we should create PBIs to make that come true.
Why is the prefix placeholder?
Because this one was created on the fly during the meeting, and we want Tiger to fill the contents and update the details. And we haven't checked the details yet.
You're going to fix it before sending?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, beside this Spring Go, we have other bugs fix and some carryover tasks from previous sprints. Is there anyone you are interested in and want to have more details on it?
Oh,
Adam?
okay.
Okay, cool. And the backlog change from sprint 110, the team explicitly moved unfinished sprint 109 work into sprint 110 as carryover. That's true. And we had some we have moved in PBI 3662 and 3663 immediately after Willow mentioned the log and analytic spike. So there are 2 PBIs to fix the log cost issue, and PBI 3665 will confirm as active work. I think a feedback for Tiger, or with these numbers, we should have the names as well. the title of the PBI because it's hard to tell which one is. And next, Rick, can you give us some AI stats for the next step?
Sure. So next step from the Tiger. So Tiger said we were gonna review the backlog cleanup. Callum is assigned to that, and Tino is gonna talk with Zeno about reusable China-fi code he did previously, and also we're gonna make a booking to review the Cloud Sandbox Spike with the team. And also we're gonna send a reminder to Josh about the dumb video, and we're gonna do filling the 360 portal merge PBI detail. Stephen, please make sure AI did that. And we're gonna implement a leaderboard stats caching. That's very important one as well. So Claude is pretty spot on.
Just on that stuff, it's probably better if you take over control, Rick. But if you just go up a tiny bit, the AI stats should be Tiger, right? SSW
Yes.
Tiger.
Yeah.
And we should have prefixes on this stuff. So the first one would be backlog. The second one would be China-fi. China
Okay.
as a prefix. China-fi does not have a dash.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so you can put prefixes on that before sending it. But
Yeah.
I think that's something for Willow to improve. Cheetah.
Yep. Sure.
Thanks.
And for Copilot stats, what is the main item to do next? Copilot said we need to add YakShaver 360 into the YakShaver portal. So we start by integrating 360 before extending to Teams and desktop. And that's pretty spot on.
Cool. Thank you, Rick. That's the planning. Next, last but not least, Callum will give us an insight of our Tiger stats.
Yep. I'll take over the screen share
Yeah,
for
sure.
a second. All right, so here's our beautiful SSW Tiger dashboard. Most of this we've already gone through, so I will skip through it quickly. We spent 20 minutes talking about the China-fi investigation deep dive. The summary of that was that Zeno has China-fied YakShaver for a Chinese client, but the version of YakShaver that he China-fied is sort of no longer compatible with the current YakShaver. So it's unclear how much, if any of that work we can reuse. And that's one of the items that Stephen just mentioned is Tino will speak to Zeno and investigate that. I guess people and roles. I mean, there's not too much interesting in here. I think most interesting is in insights. So a couple of elephants in the room here. We had 0 client responses to Tom's outreach. There was 0 responses this week and 0 responses last week. So obviously something's not working in there, but as we've just established, it was always part of his plan to sort of plant the seed with an email and then follow up with a phone call or LinkedIn message, etc. next. So I guess that elephant's been
Shot.
I don't know. You don't shoot elephants, that's animal cruelty because they're quite majestic beasts, but that elephant's been dealt with humanely, let's say. The next one, 759 open issues across 3 repos. So this is a problem. This is my fault that I have not cleaned up the backlog. So the team has prepared an AI-based cleanup plan, which is basically saying, all right, here's all our stuff, here's what we can merge together, here's what we can move around to clean up between epics and stuff like that. I just need to find the time to do it. Unfortunately, I've been super busy on other stuff in the last few weeks, so I haven't really got around to it, but I need to find the time at some point. Couple of things on the risk radar. So we committed to the same amount of work as we did last week, even though we didn't do all the work. So I guess we're hoping things turn around. That's a bit of a critical risk. We got a dead end fork on the China-fied YakShaver, and we made an 8-point PBI. That's actually not a risk. That was fine because we deliberately did that as part of our plan. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much everything worth mentioning on the Tiger dashboard.
Thank you, Callum. I will take over the screen again. So as usual, we will post this video to YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.